Questions we hear all the time. How do I get into property development? And do I need a ton of money to get into property development? Also, what's the first step if you want to move beyond flips and buy-to-lets or get off the tools?
Welcome to Property Developers Playbook. I'm Jonathan Stubbs.
And I'm Kieran Shepherd.
This is the podcast where we talk about the business of property development. So if you're looking to get started or looking to scale, this is the podcast for you.
Yeah, and if you're new to the podcast, welcome. And if you're joining us again, welcome back.
In today's episode, we're breaking down how to get started as a property developer, the mindset, the knowledge, the first steps that you need to take, and what people need to understand when jumping into the industry.
Yeah, so the first...
Before we get into all of that, we've got the big question of the week. So we're all looking at Faith.
Is there a jingle? We haven't got a jingle for this yet.
We don't have a jingle yet. We need to work on a jingle. Once we upgrade our little buttons here.
Buttons.
Let's push the button for Faith.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the question, Faith?
What percentage of new homes in the UK are delivered by small and medium-sized property developers today?
What is the percentage of new homes delivered by small and medium property developers today? So I can't remember if you went first last time, so I think I need to go first this time.
Yeah, you go first.
And this is in comparison to national house builders. We're going on a percentage of how much the small to medium. I'm thinking it's actually quite a lot. I think there's quite a lot of people doing development these days.
Sorry, just say the question again.
What percentage of new homes in the UK are delivered by small and medium-sized property developers?
Okay,
yeah.
Right. Go on.
So I'm going to sway over the 50%.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to go 60%.
Okay, I'm going to go 50%.
10 to 12%.
So that's rubbish.
I thought it was low. Yeah, I was going to go a little bit lower than 50. I was going to go about 40.
I had a lot of faith in small to medium developers.
But the big developers do build.
They do build
serious
massive.
number. Yeah. Well, we're shit.
Yeah, we're way off.
Have you got a follow-up? You said you might have a follow-up to that one.
Yeah. What do you think it was percentage-wise in the late 1980s?
In the late 1980s?
What percentage-wise? Well, I suck at this game. So
well, I thought it was going to be smaller. So what did you say? It was 10 to 15%?
10 to 12.
10 to 12. I'm going to say 5. I think it'd be less.
Yeah, I'm with Kieran. I reckon it's got to be less because I don't think there were many people building back in the day.
I think it was more larger companies. Would it have been 80s? I don't know.
Actually, no, I'm going to go the opposite. I think because you didn't have the big national house builders back then.
But we did. It was only the 80s. It's only 40 odd years ago, isn't it? We did have...
What year are we talking about? What year are we talking about?
What year? 80? It's just the 80s?
1980s. I think it's higher. I'm going to stick with 50%.
All right. I'm going to go 5.
Nearly 40%.
Well, okay. So national house builders have just gone massive.
They've gone massive, yeah. So do you think there's more bigger nationals, or do you think they're just building bigger developments?
Or people think it's harder to get into the industry these days?
That might be another reason, yeah.
Which might be a good thing to actually have this topic for getting people started in property development. So, yeah, quite interesting. I think the biggest thing with property development is partly your mindset, the belief that you can do property development, the belief that you can get started with a limited budget. Obviously, you do need some money, whether that's your own money or someone else's, but you do need to have money. And, obviously the experience is another thing that holds people back, I think. Yeah.
But it's belief in yourself, isn't it? Big thing. You got to believe you can do it and create that mindset. Yeah.
We obviously talk about, like I said at the beginning, this is the podcast for the business of property development. It is a business and you need to treat it as a business. There's a saying about if you treat it as a side hustle or hobby, it'll always stay as a hobby. You need to treat it seriously. It is a serious game. There's a lot involved in it, especially when you're coming down to the systems, the processes, the risk management. You're raising finances. The biggest thing with property development is being able to pull a team together, and we talk about that a lot through our podcast. The good thing is a lot of developers don't start with a large pot of money or large amounts of experience, but you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's our experience. We didn't start with a big war chest, didn't we? You have to be creative and want it and believe in it. And,
and it can be done because there's so many other developers out there that that have done it. And so if other people can do it, there's no reason why you can't do it either. Now, your background and what you're doing at the moment can obviously play a huge role in you becoming a property developer. So I come from an accounting background. I can use my accounts experience to do the spreadsheets and the analysis. I did manage a team of people, so being able to pull a team of people and manage them getting a project done.
Love a spreadsheet, don't you?
Yeah, I love a spreadsheet.
Love a spreadsheet. Very good at it as well.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Very good.
But you've got a different side of the story, and this is why it works.
Well, yeah, I'm from construction, so from the trade background, then a main contractor. Look to both of us got sort of frustrated with our day to day, and we're sort of based in property.
Want more.
Wanted more. Yeah, exactly that. You want more, and you're prepared to put the graft in, because that's another thing. Some people don't realise how much you do need to put in. Like we said, it's not a side hustle. This is something you've got to put the effort into, 100%. And we were prepared to do that, and we just made the decisions to educate ourselves and create that mindset and belief in ourselves, and use the knowledge we already had, and then add in the missing pieces. You've built things. I obviously have a commercial side in terms of accounting for businesses and things, so we both touch on each other's sort of strengths, but it's good to have that as part of the team. You can rely on each other for those areas, so team is important.
If you're in sales, then obviously you've got the experience of negotiating. That's hugely valuable within the property industry, definitely if you're negotiating on sites or raising finance, working with investors, or even procuring materials, etc.
Yeah, interesting question. I think, do you think there's a top 5
skill set?
Say again?
Top 5 skill set.
Top 5 skill set or professions that could easily move into property development.
Profession. Well, I think people who are on the trades, on
the tools, anything around that.
Builders, or anyone, whether that's plumbers, electricians, ground workers,
site managers, project managers, contract managers, anything in that sort of area.
Yeah, I think they predetermined for being in property development. They just need to change the way they think about their business and what they do. You obviously got people who are already RIC surveyors, QSs. They, again, it's something that would fall into naturally.
Yeah. So should we put that in like a consultant pot, like surveyors, solicitors, architects, even structural engineers. I think anybody that sees that sort of planned element of the developments, I
think it makes it a lot easier for them.
Yes.
They just need to change the way they think about things. Whereas if you've got people, so I'm an accountant by profession previously, it was obviously a very different ball game for me to step away from the account side of things and get started into property development. But then that was more about surrounding myself with the people that can do, so like yourself.
But making the numbers stack is vital. Without that, you can't.
Yeah, so I can bring those skills to it.
That's right, yeah.
And, working, I didn't really work with investors as an accountant, but obviously I was working with business owners because we were doing the accounts function for other people's businesses. So you're then liaising with business owners, and you're understanding what they're wanting from a business, and then what do they do with all their profits, and that's ultimately where you're able to build up those relationships. But ultimately anything in business, you're always in sales. And the biggest thing about property development is about building relationships, because you're pulling a team together. You are the coordinator. And it's just being able to put that in direction. You have the vision, you find the opportunities, and then you put the team in place to actually deliver the project.
I think that's the thing as well, these professions, because you can get a residential solicitor or a solicitor that has nothing to do with property at all. So, I can't think, but the
M&A.
But if you're, say, a commercial solicitor or a property solicitor, you already have a bit of a network. You already have connections. So you've already got a team that you could probably start to build from. Same with an estate agent. Great for sourcing property, understanding the market. You've already probably got a network. You probably know contractors, solicitors. you've got the makings of a team. So I guess that's probably the key, isn't it? If you're connected in some way, you don't have to be, but it does help.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah.
It helps. But you could be, you could literally be a shelf stacker.
Yeah, you could be a mechanic. You could have anything that's not related. You just want to get into property development.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that we want to kind of stress to people is you don't need to know everything to get started.
No.
The biggest thing is that you need to get started.
That's right. Yeah.
And very similar to anything in life, we're talking about a mechanic. They had to learn from someone.
Yep.
Myself as an accountant, I had to go to university and learn being an accountant.
Yeah.
As exciting as that was.
I was just gifted with raw talent and it just didn't need to learn anything.
Yeah. Well, you got brought up in the cold landscaping business environment. So
that's right.
But this is how you learn anything, is you got to go through, and this is why we go on the motto of learn, build, scale. You need to learn first, learn the process first.
Yeah. And also, I think in that sort of making mistakes, part of learning is making mistakes, going through those processes, and typically I think that's why it's good to do a lot of your learning while you're young, because mistakes aren't costly. But some people then, as they get older, sort of shy away from taking on new challenges, new learning experiences.
Mistakes. Yeah.
That's right, which we understand. It can be costly, time, money. That's why working with people like ourselves or other people who are already property developers, already in the industry, working with them and learning from their mistakes, I think that's really key.
You fast forward everything.
Absolutely. And you can, if you can be not sort of taught but guided in the right way, where you can sort of say, look, this is where we failed, or these are the mistakes we did, and this is what we would do now. Yeah. And you can make notes to that and learn from those mistakes. So yeah.
One of the biggest reasons people never start is because they don't know where or how to start. And an interesting stat that we found is that the number of people interested in property development who never start is actually between 70 to 80%. So
that's a big figure, isn't it?
It's big, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is partly why we started PDIQ. We believe that property development is available to anyone who's willing to learn and take the necessary steps in it.
Yeah.
This is why we created the Property Develop Formula, which is a 7-step system to help you or teach you how to go through the property development process.
Yeah. So, and it's what we work to. We haven't just created it for this. We work to that system. We've literally just tweaked everything that we do and sort of not put it in a box, but made sure people can follow it through and see the process. So makes sense.
So the first thing we always talk about, and you can go back and listen to previous podcast episodes, is about discovering, finding the sites, finding the opportunity, whether that's a piece of land or whether that's a commercial, it's really an office building or something like that.
Yeah, and understanding your gold mine area. You mentioned that in a few social videos and a few podcasts. For us, it's not about looking, throughout the whole of the UK. It's you already understand your locality, the area you're in. So, or it might not be that. It might be somewhere you've moved from, that you spent a long time there, but you understand that area. You understand, the sort of socio-economic of the place and how that works, and and also you've been around, you've known what the market is doing. So
once you found the site or the office building or whatever property it is, you need to then do an evaluation of all the constraints, the risks associated with it. That's step number 2. Well,
actually, just on the discovery bit, I think that then, if you are an estate agent, you might know the areas, I like that stage, because it's almost like detective, isn't it? And actually, a lot of these it's a bit of a detective role. It's trying to find things out, and but I think that relates quite well to some people like that stage more than others. Is that your belly?
That was my stomach.
You're hungry. But that relates, you're an estate agent or someone who, again, just is interested in sourcing property, finding things, potential opportunities, then that's ideal, That's is a big part of it. It's fun. It's the exciting bit, isn't it? When you find a new deal or something of good potential. You
get swept up in what it could be, and you can see the vision of everything else kind of coming to it.
Yeah.
It's the dreaming stage, and then it's, I'm very much facts and figures on it. Yeah. It's always like, once you've found and you've seen it, it's like, right, what are the problems with it?
Straight into evaluate, isn't it? That's the thing. So you've got your D and then your E, evaluate, and that's the bit you need to start understanding. those layers that that potential site has, and like you said, planning any conditions, constraints and that sort of thing. So,
and then from there is where you actually start putting the numbers to it. Once you've understood what the vendor's looking for, they always got an asking price. You've looked at the risks. You can then start looking at the viability of the site and does it actually make any sense? Is it going to make any money from it? And from there you then can decide whether you're going to put an offer forward.
Yeah. So this bit relates very well to someone like yourself with your background. If you're a numbers person, if you're a business person, I think if you're very structured in your thinking and processing, then I think that's very good. I think that relates to those sort of people.
Yeah, analytical. Yeah.
Analytical. Yeah. That's the word. Yeah. Thanks, John.
That's all right.
But I think I've got quite a broad sort of knowledge of every area, but I think that's not my strength. That's why we work well together, because I sort of touch on it, but you're a lot better at it. You're a lot more precise, a lot more analytical. Yeah,
but this is where I would do all the numbers, and I'll talk to you and go, right, how do my figures sound? Does it seem reasonable? Yeah. And this is where we work well, that we bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah, and the biggest one on that for our discussion, and it should be for all, is build costs and understanding those site constraints and things, or is it a sloping site? Is there what's the lay of the land, and how difficult it's going to be, access issues, those sort of things, and then you get an idea of build cost, early stage build costs at that point. But just to run some figures.
So from viability, once you've decided you're going to make an offer, it's then the engage stage, which is where basically you put the offers in, you're negotiating with the vendors, you're putting the structure together with your solicitors, just really securing the deal in the best structure for yourself as possible. Yeah. And then you move on to the next stage, which is how are you funding it, the leverage.
Yeah.
So whether that's you raising money with senior lenders, which is typical, getting a development funder on board, but also raising private finance, working with investors, doing joint ventures, anything like that. That's the leverage state of how to fund the development.
Yeah. And again, I think if maybe you're from a finance background already, we've spoken to a couple of people who are brokers who are interested in sort of moving their career forward, or people who've worked in the finance industry, so they have a bit of background in it and maybe done a few flips, a few other bits, but want to progress further. So I think if that's your background, you probably take to that section a lot better.
Yeah, very much so. Then we move on to optimizing the site. So this could be, if it's a piece of land as an example, and you're going to go through the planning uplift, it's getting the planning on the site. If it's already got planning, could it be improved, or how do you increase the efficiencies, density, the housing mass, etc. So it's just the next stage is optimizing it before you get into the build and exit, which was really your forte.
Yeah. I think at that stage, again, if you're a designer, architect, surveyor, any of those sort of things, that's your stage. That's where you'd thrive. You'll thrive. You'll just be able to process those things a lot quicker, and understand again the site. So there's a bit for everybody.
Yeah. And then the building is very much delivering the project.
Yeah.
So if you're already on the tools in a trade or anything, this is where you've got. You obviously work with a huge range of other subcontractors. Yeah. It's just being able to pull the team together.
Yeah, and I think it's a great industry where you can pull on lots of people's knowledge. I think you might have a weaker area. I'm a mason by trade, and if I need a bit of a carpenter's input for a timber frame project, then I know who I'll call on to get a bit of advice. So same thing. That's the build side is the strength of the trades and anyone in that area.
So how do you learn property development? Made a quick list of a couple of topics here, or points to highlight. Listen to this podcast. Obviously, this is where you need to come to. It's the number one podcast for people looking to get started in property development. We cover
it's
all
the best. Different. I've heard it's the best.
It is the best. Watch our YouTube channel. So we've got a YouTube channel. It will be hosting the podcast episodes, but we will also be doing interviews with other experts and also doing site visits. And once we've finished the development, we'll be pretty much laying all the numbers bare of how it all started, running through the costs, and then basically exposing everything, from the cost to the end figure.
Yeah, the ups and the downs, because it's not all plain sailing, is it? It's so that'd be good. That'd be good to open it all up, let people see. But also that's what we did. You know, we're constantly listening to other people's podcasts, watching videos, just soaking it up, getting more knowledge from other people. They're not as good as us, but they're good.
Everyone has their differences.
Yeah, which is great. And I think the thing is you need to keep your eyes and ears open, and just soak it all up, soak up the industry and understand how it all works.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is we are developing currently. We also come from two very different backgrounds. I'm more from an accounts background, a corporate background. Kieran's from the trades, mason background, and a main contractor now and a business owner. So we come from our two different sides doing property development, whereas I know a lot of other people don't have that joint aspect point of view, because people in the corporate world or a job environment would find it difficult.
Yes.
And just how do you find those other people to work with?
Yeah, and it is tricky. I think for me, it's a little bit different because I'm surrounded by property, have been for years, 20 years plus years, and so it's a little bit more open to me. Those possibilities are probably more open to the trades and people in the trades. So, but I think if it's a little bit more closed off and it feels a lot further away, networking has got to be the strongest option for that. Get out there and network and actually go on some training. We've both done it. We've both been on training that helped us massively and still does. We still go to different courses and things that are of interest and things we want to learn. And
they're also great for networking, because on that course you're going to be meeting like-minded people.
I think that's one of the best things. I know there's a cost to it for time and money, but you do learn and you do network. You meet some great people. There's I went on a course 6-7 years ago now, and I still talk to the people that I went on the course with. We've taken completely different paths from where that course was, but it's we still talk, we still catch up, and it's great, and that's what it's about, building your network.
And we'll be holding our own 3-day course later this year, once we've determined a set date for it. And we'll let you know more about that. Join a community of other developers. I think that would be quite good. Again, that's kind of coming down to networking. But then also, speaking to professionals, they would help you be able to associate yourself with people in the industry already. So how to start your first deal? Obviously, you need to get out there. And one of the biggest myths is that you need to have time, money and experience to get started. But this is where the networking and having the professional team around you, you'll be able to collaborate a lot more and work with other people and get credibility through that.
Yeah. No, that's key.
Start small. We'd recommend starting small. We've seen people really jump into the deep end with bigger projects, and that will take a lot longer to see fruition and also cost a lot more money. And if this is a whole new step for you, getting out of your comfort zone of what you're currently doing, it's always better to start a little bit smaller, whether that's just a shop with two flats above or something like that. That's still a conversion. Or what's one that we've looked at or you doing recently for clients is a bed and breakfast into converting into a house or apartments. There's a number of deals that you could do where it doesn't need to be crazy figures.
No, I think for us, being a property developer is about producing more than one unit or working on one unit. I think it's multiples because you have the scale of economy there. There's better margins. So there's sort of a sweet spot for beginners. I would say, let's say more than one, but I think let's be daring and say 3 to 10 units is where you need to be. I think anything above that, you're going to be wasting your time because it is beyond you, if you're just starting out. So that's what you should be looking at, 3 to 10 units. And I remember running lots of deals, once I learned how to, undertake a deal analysis and really study the site. There'd be lots, and I'd go through all those emotions of excitement and be like, oh, this could work. And then you get to a point and go, oh, actually it doesn't work because of this. There's too much Section 106 or something will come up and you go, oh, that's, disheartening. But you will do that. You'll I think when you're starting out, you do a lot of that, don't you?
Yeah.
Probably hundreds of different potential projects.
Yeah. And like I say, as Kieran was saying, up to 10 is a good number. As an example, our Saltash development, which is an office to resi conversion, it's an office into 9 apartments, and we bought that for 420k. So that's not huge numbers, but we're getting 9 apartments out of it, and that'll be a great site once we're finished.
I think that's a great starter.
Yeah.
Again, for people that have a bit more background knowledge, but I think even then, I think it's a great, if you can, create a team, certainly with maybe a main contractor and some of the professionals needed, I think that's a good number. I think 5 to 9 to me works well to start. I started on a 9. I bought a school for 360,000. Bought it very well, and we built 9 houses, and that worked really well. That was perfect. Timing, cost, everything just was in our favour because it was what we knew, but also the number worked. It was a lovely look. So also you make almost a place at 9, don't you? It's a nice little community. Yeah. I think anything 5 to 9, you build place, not just houses, and that's important.
And you've got that economies of scale you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, with bigger projects, obviously there's a far more complexity of things to take into account. There is obviously a lot more money that you'll need to do that. You'll need a completely different team than a smaller project. And ultimately, there's everyone's heard the saying, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And if you're just starting out, there's a lot of risk that comes with that.
Yeah.
So,
you'll need the same people, but more people. And people who are used to dealing with bigger things. And we find that with our team, the scale of the project, you work with different professionals, or even ourselves as a main contractor, we will work on our own developments. If it's smaller stuff, we use a lot of our in-house team. If it's larger stuff, we'll be looking to behave more like a main contractor and subbing those packages out, and using probably less of our in-house team, because we use them on other projects. And just again, scale of economies, packaging things, knowing what the set prices are, it just seems to work. The
next thing, as Kieran was saying earlier, is networking is the biggest thing. This is where you need to get yourself out there, go to numerous networking events, find other developers, find other people that you're able to collaborate with, especially if you're just starting out. You can bring sweat equity to it. You've got put the time in to be able to do it, and other people can help you along the way. Do joint ventures with investors, people looking to get started who are cash rich but time poor, and if you can offer that time side of it, then that could be a good joint venture that could start well on your first development.
And one thing as well with this sort of mindset thing that we spoke about at the start, and having that mindset shift, one thing you're going to hit multiple times, but certainly early on, is imposter syndrome. You'll hear this discussed a lot in the property world, and when you're educating yourself and becoming something more than you are. We all get it. We still get it today. You walk into a networking event and you'll feel like an imposter. You shouldn't be there, and you don't deserve to be there. And everyone goes through it, and it's a hurdle within that you've got to get over. You've just got to be like, you've almost got to this. The saying, "Fake it before you make it." I hate the saying when it's an external thing. But if it's an internal thing where you're faking it to yourself to make it for yourself, and you're not lying to anybody else, you're just lying to yourself to become better.
Giving yourself confidence.
That's what that to me is when the saying makes sense. So fake it to yourself before you make it for yourself. That's what I think is the most important thing, to get over that imposter syndrome, because it will hold you back.
Massively.
And another thing, the biggest, I'm not going to say naysayers, but the people who will talk you out of this and almost tell you this is a bad idea, they're going to be the closest people to you. They're going to be your good friends and your family, and that's because they care and they protect. And that's what I found when I wanted to, I was successful in the building game as a main contractor. I was doing well. I was doing okay. I didn't need to do anything extra, and that's what I was told by people. You don't need to do it. Why are you doing it? And that's there for protection. They're there to try and keep you in that comfortable bubble where, because there is risk there. You're risking your time. For me at that stage, and similar to you, is that sweat equity you're putting in. That's time away from your family, time away from your friends and things like that. So they don't want you to do that. They want you to stay comfortable with them and not risk any of that time that you can't get back. So
it's a natural human thing, isn't it, to try and avoid risk and danger?
Of course it is. And again, you get different people are at different ends of the scale. Some people, generally accountants are quite risk averse, aren't they, because they're calculated, so they sort of lean on that side. I think maybe trades people are a little bit more on the other side, maybe a little bit more risk taking, because our industry is risky. We're in it. We live risk all the time. Waking up every day to the weather is risky for us. We don't know what that's gonna do. So I think for me, I'm more of a risk taker. But I think it's finding where you are and understanding, really taking a good look at yourself and saying, right, where do I need to be? Maybe model yourself on somebody else, like a mentor or somebody you've seen, somebody you listen to on a podcast or watch on YouTube, and say, right, how do I get there? What sort of person or mindset do I have to be or have to reach that line? And what have I got to do that? And I think a little bit you've got to fake it yourself to make it yourself. That's
and I think especially on your first deal, find yourself a mentor, find someone who's been there, done that, and they can guide you along the way. Certainly gives you a sounding board if you've got any questions or anything. Allows you to learn from their mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes.
Also I think a professional mentor will mentor. They won't steal the deal. That's another thing, because I was always scared of that. I had a good couple of deals on the table, and I was too scared to open it up to anyone because I didn't want to lose the deal to somebody else. Because you do hear that, that people poach deals and things, and I was a bit scared to network with someone who was maybe a bit further on than with me to joint venture, and actually what I did was the deal didn't go anywhere because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't quite know how to progress it. Whereas what I should have done was actually lent on maybe a mentor that isn't looking to poach the deal, is just looking to help. And that will cost time and money in many instances, but you will get deals over the line, I think.
Well, you'll learn far quicker.
Absolutely.
That they might be able to connect you with other people or tell you who you need to connect with, and just give you the insight that takes you that much faster. And I think you might be in a meeting and it can be long distance. There's a couple of people that we're talking with that are, not on our doorstep, somewhere else in the UK, 200 miles away, and we're sort of advising them on how to take things to the next stage and what to say and what not to say and how to approach things, and take your foot off the gas a little bit, let people breathe and think things through, just little hints and tips, and we're not there to try and take that deal. We're trying to help them get that deal over the line. So, and I think that's important. I wish I did that. I wish I did that early on. I think it would have helped me out. And there's a couple of deals I can think of which I would have loved to have had and built. Some common beginner mistakes is obviously trying to do too much too soon. First thing is not getting educated. They think they can watch YouTube videos and suddenly they know how to do everything. I think that yes, you can learn stuff from YouTube, from watching videos, but again, it doesn't cover everything into the minute detail that's involved in property development. No. I think that's a risk that you need to try and avoid as much as possible. It
piques your interest, doesn't it? I think YouTube and this, just watching this, I think is a good starting point. Don't get me wrong, and it's something you can always come back to. That's the great thing. There's stuff we still go back to, isn't there? Watch again and again. But it's only the start. Don't go too quick. I think it's a really valid point. Just take your time.
If you found a site, make sure that you look at all the risks. Don't just dive in and make an offer. We've seen this before as well. They get blown away by the size and the potential and everything else. And they've put some numbers to it, but actually they haven't looked at all the different risks that are on the site. And I think there's hidden risks that people don't tell you. And you need to go and find them. Whether it's the drainage or the services or there's loads of different things you need to be looking at when you find a piece of land before you make the offer. Don't just go straight in making an offer.
Have you done that? I don't think you have.
No, I would always be looking for the risks. I was talking to someone recently who had seen a site, looked at the agent material and was like, the numbers work great, I want to put an offer. I was like, then when I went through the planning documents, they hadn't even looked at the planning documents. And the drainage was 150 meters away and they had to dig a drain to get there. The waters were in the main road, and one thing that one of the planning documents said about a certain type of drainage, the agent material said completely different. So what is it? Each of them have different price points. So something like that is a big thing. You need to try and not offer too quickly.
No, that's right, and know how to offer. Again, that's another thing. You need to know how to calculate the deal and put these sort of flag points into a proper proposal to say that this is the reason why we're offering this, because these things here are going to cost us money unless you can tell us they're not. It's about how you structure that deal and how you present it. So again, I've seen it, and I've almost done it, if I'm honest. I've almost got excited and gone straight in there and started the haggle, not really knowing what I'm haggling, what the basis of the haggle is, what I'm trying to get the reduction in price for. Yeah. And then people look at you and
that's just because you like negotiating.
But I love it, yeah. But then I sort of shot myself in the foot, because there has to be the reason, the leverage for that to get that down. Yeah. And if you don't know, you don't know. And when they'll say, well, why would I do that? Yeah. And if you've got nothing to come back and say, oh, well, because of these points, if you're like, well, because I'm cash ready, or because I'm keen, they're going to go, that doesn't mean anything to me, So it's just being prepared.
Yeah. What beginners and people looking to get started in property development should do is, focus on the learning, building the credibility, building up the team around you as well. Working on your track record. And so if you've done some property, whether that's investing, whether that's buy-to-lets or HMOs or anything, that's something you add into your portfolio of experience that you can bring to the table. Make sure you understand the numbers.
Just a point on that, sorry John, just another thing on that in terms of building up your track record while learning and being mentored and guided. That can be part of your track record. As long as you're not saying, oh, I've done this, but you can say that at this time you were working with a mentor or a property developer that was doing these projects, and you're able to see this from start to finish. I think that's a worthy CV, something to put in your CV and say, this is what I've been doing. Something's better than nothing, and people like to see that you are learning and going through that. You've been
involved in it, so you've seen it and everything. Although you might not have actually taken on all the risk and everything else, but you've been through the process.
And also for us, say if we were mentoring someone and they had a skill set, we would probably bring them into the deal. If they're a consultant or something, or an agent, we'd probably bring them in, and then they were part of that process. So maybe not to a joint venture scenario, but certainly as well, maybe a joint venture, but certainly as part of the team, so that you could put that on your CV. And again, that's learning and moving forward.
So with regards to the numbers, go back to episode 41 of our podcast. We spoke about development appraisals and how you stress test them and make sure that the numbers stack. Also, again, do your due diligence. We covered this on episodes 47 and 48, where we did a mini series on how you evaluate a site. We had 8 kind of core principles or areas to look at. Go have a look at those. But one thing to avoid is analysis paralysis. It's hard from an accounts point of view, because I like analysing things to the nth degree, and sometimes that's too much and the deal's gone. So don't do that. No. You've got to take the necessary risks, talk to people who can help you out, and then make a decision, take the action, put your offer forward.
There is almost, and I think you develop this over time, but there is a gut instinct that kicks in where you go, we're ready to put that offer forward. It's I like that saying, analysis paralysis. I think that's true. You can. And sometimes you get to such a point where you go, is there more? Am I missing? And you literally just you just stop, and you think, oh, I'll come back to this. You don't. The deal's gone. And that's what it is. And it's not very nice feeling, is it?
No, I've been there.
But again, it's about being able to share those experiences with people, so then when they get that feeling, they know what that is, what it's about, and they can make a phone call and say, what do I do when I feel like this? And it's like, okay, well, let's talk through the deal, see where you're at, and really saying you're probably ready. Let's get that packaged up, presented in a certain way. Let's move forward. So
because putting in the offer is the starting point of the negotiation. That's when you can really fine-tune it. And as Kieran was saying, you can go back and look at the different constraints and justify why you're putting a low offer. The deal's got to work for you ultimately. Yeah,
that's right. And actually, I find that more rewarding. The deal is always in the buying anyway. You have to buy right. That's key. But I always love that when you look back to a deal, that's the bit I perk up. And not so much the profit. The profit's great, and the build's great, and did you deliver on time and on budget and all that? They're great things. But when you can say to yourself and to your network and people that care and matter in the industry, I bought it at this price, there's nothing better. That's a good feeling. When you bought well, that's a really good thing to boast about, I suppose. But it's true, because you know what you're doing. You've done a good job, and it's quite satisfying to know.
So hopefully you've taken something away from this podcast episode where you can take that first step, take take a step outside of your comfort zone and get started in property development. Get in touch with us if you want to learn more about property development. Like I say, we are reserving seats for our course later this year. We believe anyone can learn property development if you're willing to take the necessary action. But you need to start with being educated first. Don't just dive in. No. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Every successful developer started somewhere. There's another nice saying that I like, is every master was a disaster at one stage.
That's true.
So the difference is they took the first step, and that's the biggest thing, is don't be one of the 70 to 80% who want to do it but never actually take the first step.
No, that's it. It's just about doing, isn't it? One of the things I was going to say earlier is about, do you think there's a sweet spot of time? Because something that's come up a few times is, certainly myself, and then we were spent quite a bit of time sourcing the right project. There is no set time. It's not like 3 months of learning and you're definitely going to be in. Sometimes it might be a couple of months might do it. But I remember when I first got into this, a whole year had passed, and I had sort of an unofficial mentor, shared my success of getting a deal over the line, and he was like I thought I'd taken ages to get the deal done. A year to me felt like a long time. And he was like, wow, you've done it so quick. And I was like, oh, what, really? And he was like, yeah, that's a really quick turnaround. And I was like, oh, it felt like a long time. So there's no sort of right time. It's just when it works for you. And just that's what's important. It's just got to be right, really.
There will be people out there who say, oh, you can get your first deal in 90 days. It sounds great. And you might be able to find a deal and put an offer in, but you're not going to get the deal in 90 days.
No, I don't think the whole team can manoeuvre, can move that quickly. No. But you can certainly go far with 90 days, and you'll learn a lot in 90 days.
As long as you take consistent action, within 90 days you'd be able to identify some sites that you'd be able to start doing the appraisal and the numbers on and everything else.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So one of the things we want to find out from our listeners and our viewers is, is there anything currently stopping you from getting started in property development? If so, we'd love to hear from you. If there's anything that either Kieran or myself can help you with, do reach out to us. We'd be able to at least point in the right direction if we cannot help, or at least, guide you in a way that can.
Yeah, let us know the hurdles.
Yeah.
We want to know.
So if you enjoyed today's episode, if you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button. If you're listening to us on the podcast, we'd love to hear your feedback, get some reviews.
Yeah. Thanks
very much for listening. Like I say, reach out to us on social media channels or through our website, which is propertydevelopersplaybook.co.uk. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Stobbs.
And I'm Kieran Shepherd. See you again.
Soon. Learn, build, scale.